Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt afraid? Not of the outside world, but of yourself. Not of monsters, not of failures, not of the dark. But afraid of your own thoughts. Afraid of what you might find if you looked too closely at the parts of yourself you try to hide. Maybe it's anger you pretend you don't feel. Maybe it's jealousy you bury deep. Maybe it's guilt over something you never forgave yourself for. Or maybe it's the simple fear that if people saw the real you, they wouldn't love you the same. We all carry a shadow, a side of us we avoid, because facing it feels like opening a locked door we've been too scared to touch for years. But here's the paradox. The more you run from that part of you, the stronger it gets. The shadow grows in silence, and one day, it shows up in ways you can't ignore. In relationships that fall apart, in anger that bursts out of nowhere, in loneliness you can't explain. So, what if I told you that the very part of you that terrifies you the most might also be the key to your freedom? This video isn't about running from yourself. It's about walking straight into the fire. It's about understanding, accepting, and even embracing the side of you that you've feared for so long. Because until you face it, you'll never truly be whole. Stay with me, because what we're about to explore might just change the way you see yourself forever. Think about how we're raised. From the very beginning, we're taught what's acceptable and what isn't. If you cried too loudly, someone told you to be quiet. If you got angry, you were told it was bad. If you felt envy, shame followed. Slowly, without even realizing it, we learn to hide certain parts of ourselves. But here's the thing. Those emotions, those impulses, they never actually go away. They just sink deeper, into the corners of your mind you don't want to visit. And eventually that's where fear begins. Not in the outside world, but in the dark places inside yourself. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, called this our shadow self. It's not evil. It's not broken. It's simply the part of us that holds everything we've pushed away. And the truth is, facing this part of you feels terrifying, because you've been told all your life that it's unacceptable. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Ignoring it doesn't make it disappear. It only makes it stronger. Think about the times you've snapped at someone for no reason, or the moments when insecurity whispered in your ear that you weren't good enough. That's your shadow speaking through you. So the first step in facing the part of you that you fear the most is this: acknowledging that it exists. Saying to yourself, yes, there is a part of me I don't fully understand, and that's okay. Because the moment you name your fear, it loses some of its power. This fear of ourselves doesn't come from nowhere. It's shaped by childhood, society, and our own experiences. Imagine being a child who's constantly told to be good. What happens when you feel anger? You push it down. What happens when you feel jealousy? You hide it. What happens when you feel desire? You pretend it isn't there. Over time, you start believing that if people really saw all of you, the messy, complicated emotional parts, they wouldn't accept you. And that belief grows into fear. But here's the irony. What we fear the most about ourselves is often the very thing that makes us human. Everyone feels anger, everyone feels envy, everyone feels insecurity. Yet, because we hide it, we assume we're alone in it. The truth? The fear doesn't come from those emotions themselves. It comes from the judgment we've attached to them. Somewhere along the way, we learned, if I show this, I won't be loved. And so we became actors in our own lives, pretending to be only what's acceptable. But let me ask you this. If the people in your life only know the version of you that hides half of who you are, do they really know you at all? Now let's talk about what happens when you keep running from the part of you that you fear. At first it feels safe. You smile when you're supposed to, you hold your tongue, you play the role of the good version of yourself. But underneath, pressure builds. That pressure leaks out in subtle ways, in the anxiety that keeps you awake at night, in the self-doubt that paralyzes you, in the quiet resentment you feel toward others. And sometimes it doesn't stay subtle. Sometimes it explodes. Maybe you lash out at someone you love. Maybe you sabotage an opportunity because deep down, you don't believe you deserve it. Maybe you end up feeling isolated because no one really knows the real you. Avoiding your shadow doesn't protect you, it traps you. And here's the most dangerous part. The longer you avoid it, the more it defines you. The fear of your shadow slowly becomes the story of your life, but it doesn't have to. So how do you actually face the part of you that you fear the most? The answer isn't to fight it. It isn't to conquer it. The answer is to sit with it. Start by asking yourself, what am I afraid to admit? Write it down. Speak it out loud if you have to, because giving words to fear makes it less terrifying. Next, practice self-compassion. If you discover anger in yourself, don't label it as bad. Ask, what is this anger trying to tell me? If you feel jealousy, don't shame yourself. Ask, what does this jealousy reveal about what I deeply desire? Every shadow hides a message. Every fear points to something you care about. The more you face it, the less it controls you, and slowly you begin to integrate it into your life. Not as an enemy, but as a teacher. Here's the beautiful truth. When you finally face the part of you that you fear the most, it doesn't destroy you. It transforms you. Your anger becomes passion. Your jealousy becomes clarity about your desires. Your insecurity becomes empathy for others. You stop living as half of yourself and start living as a whole. This doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means you no longer have to hide. You no longer waste energy pretending. You no longer live in fear of being found out. Because here's the secret. The shadow doesn't make you unlovable, it makes you real. And when you embrace your shadow, you discover a freedom you never thought possible. The freedom to finally, unapologetically be yourself. So maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to stop running. Maybe it's time to face the part of you that you've feared the most, and realize that in doing so, you become the person you were always meant to be.